In the shadowy depths of the Yellow River, a bustling community of thousands of carp swam quietly, their scales glinting faintly under the filtered sunlight that penetrated the murky waters. The elders of the river often gathered the young carp around them, weaving stories that danced on the edge of myth and hope. Among these tales, one stood out, whispered with reverence and awe, far upstream, beyond the winding currents and treacherous rapids. There was a waterfall known as the Dragon Gate. It was said that any carp courageous and determined enough to leap over the waterfall would transform into a magnificent dragon, ascending to the sky, leaving the world of water behind forever. Most of the carp dismissed these stories as quaint bedtime fables. They were content with the gentle currents, the familiar reeds, and the quiet hunt for algae and river plants. Life was safe here. The river offered routine sustenance and the comfort of known boundaries. Few dared to dream of the world above. But among the masses, there was one young carp who refused to settle. His name was Kin, small, unassuming, and far from the strongest in his school. Kin carried within him a fire that none could see on the surface, longing to glimpse the world beyond the riverbed, to touch the sky that the elders spoke of in hushed tones. Every whisper of the waterfall in the elders' stories was like a spark in his heart, igniting a relentless yearning. When he first spoke of leaving, the other carp laughed. "Why risk your life for a fantasy?" they scoffed. "The Dragon Gate is a legend. None have ever returned." Some jeered, calling him foolish. Others shook their heads, muttering that ambition was dangerous in a river full of lurking predators. But Kin did not listen. He knew, deep inside, that the path he yearned for was one that no safety or fear could replace. So, with a mixture of resolve and trepidation, Kin set out. The journey upstream was no gentle swim. It was a battle against currents that roared like beasts, against jagged rocks that scraped and bruised him, against hungry predators that lurked in the shadows. He encountered nets set by fishermen, slick traps glinting with menace, and once narrowly escaped being caught by a hook that pierced the water like a spear. Exhaustion became a constant companion. Many times Kin nearly gave up. His body ached, his scales were shredded, and the relentless push against the river's force seemed impossible. Yet, whenever he paused to gaze at the distant mist where the waterfall was rumored to roar, something surged within him, an unyielding spark of determination that refused to be extinguished. Every painful stroke against the current, every scrape and bruise, every near-death encounter only strengthened his resolve. He began to understand that courage was not the absence of fear, but the refusal to surrender to it. Days turned into nights, and nights blurred back into days. Finally, Kin arrived at the base of the Dragon Gate. The waterfall towered before him, a living wall of water that thundered into the churning pool below, sending up clouds of white spray. The sheer force of the cascade was intimidating, even to the hardiest of fish. Any carp who had dared to attempt the leap before had turned back, their ambition crushed by the brutal reality of the waterfall. "It's impossible," the other carp whispered, retreating into the shadows. "No one can survive this." Kin didn't respond. He stared upward, the mist stinging his eyes, the deafening roar of the falls hammering in his ears. Somewhere deep within, he found a quiet center, a place untouched by fear. This was the moment that defined everything. The point where dreams met reality, and only action could bridge the two. The first attempt was a disaster. Kin launched himself with all the strength his small body could muster, only to be smashed back into the pool by the unyielding torrent. Pain seared through him as he collided with jagged rocks hidden beneath the frothing surface. The second attempt was no better. Each leap left him battered. Each tumble drained what little energy he had left. Time and again he tried, and time and again the waterfall denied him. His scales were chipped, his fins torn, his body nearly broken, but his eyes never wavered. They burned with a singular, unrelenting light. The belief that what he sought was attainable if he refused to quit. With a shuddering breath, he pulled together every ounce of remaining strength, every fragment of hope, every pulse of daring courage in his heart. This time, it was not just physical force that propelled him. It was the weight of his dreams, the vision of the sky he had imagined for so long, and the refusal to let his life be bound by fear or convention. Kin shot upwards like a silver arrow, piercing through the turbulent curtain of water. Time seemed too slow. The roar of the waterfall dimmed beneath the thunder of his own resolve, and then it happened. Kin cleared the crest of the falls. A blinding, radiant light enveloped him, wrapping his battered form in a cocoon of energy. His scales shimmered and transformed, turning from dull silver to gleaming gold. His body expanded, rippling into a magnificent, otherworldly form. Long, sinuous whiskers sprouted from his face. 4 powerful limbs with talons emerged, and wings of ethereal shimmer began to form along his back. Kin had become a dragon, his spirit and form ascending to heights the river could never contain. With a roar that echoed through the valley, shaking the trees and rippling the waters below, Kin took to the sky. His wings cut through the clouds with effortless grace, soaring higher and higher until the river, the falls. And the tiny carp who had doubted him were nothing but a memory beneath him. The other carp stared, mouths agape, scales glinting in astonishment, as the legend they had dismissed took flight before their eyes. Kin's journey left more than awe in his wake. It left a lesson etched into the currents of the river. Destiny is not a matter of chance, nor a script written before birth. It is forged in the fires of choice and the relentless pounding of effort. The path to greatness is littered with obstacles, but those who meet fear head-on, who refuse to be daunted by failure, and who push beyond the boundaries of the familiar can transform not only themselves, but the very world around them. And so, the story of Kin, the carp who dared the sky, spread through the river, whispered in awe and reverence by every fish that swam its currents. Some would attempt the leap, most would not. But the tale remained eternal, a testament to courage, ambition, and the limitless potential that lies within those who choose to believe in themselves. Because true transformation, whether in a river, a city, or in life itself, is never gifted. It is earned stroke by painful stroke, leap by daring leap, in the heart of those who refuse to surrender to the ordinary. And for Kin, the world above the waterfall was just the beginning. Every story is a seed. When we plant them together, the world will bloom. Please subscribe and share this story to help us plant more seeds of love and hope.